In the heart of Mexican folklore, there lies a chilling legend that has been passed down through generations. It is the tale of La Llorona, the weeping woman, who roams the night in search of her lost children. Her mournful cries echo through the darkness, striking fear into the hearts of those who hear them. The story of La Llorona is one of love, betrayal, and tragic loss, a cautionary tale that has haunted the minds of many. The legend of La Llorona dates back to the colonial era, in a small village by the river. Maria was a beautiful young woman who captivated the hearts of all who saw her. Her beauty and grace were unmatched, and it wasn't long before she caught the eye of a wealthy Spanish nobleman named Don Felipe. Enchanted by her, Don Felipe pursued Maria relentlessly, showering her with gifts and promises of love. Maria was swept off her feet by Don Felipe's charm and wealth, and they soon married. They were blessed with 2 beautiful children, and for a time, Maria believed she had found true happiness. However, Don Felipe's affections began to wane, and he grew distant. He spent more and more time away from home, and rumors of his infidelity reached Maria's ears. One fateful evening, Maria caught sight of Don Felipe riding in a carriage with another woman. Heartbroken and consumed by rage, she confronted him, but he coldly dismissed her and their children. In a fit of madness, Maria took her children to the river and, in her anguish, drowned them. Realizing the horror of her actions, she threw herself into the river, overcome with grief and guilt. Maria's spirit was condemned to wander the earth, searching for her lost children. She became La Llorona, the weeping woman, her sorrowful cries echoing through the night. It is said that she kidnaps children who resemble her own, mistaking them for her lost sons. In the modern-day town of San Rafael, nestled by the same river where the legend of La Llorona began, the townsfolk still speak of the weeping woman. They warn their children not to venture out after dark, for fear of encountering her mournful spirit. One evening, a young woman named Isabella returned home from a late shift at the local diner. She took a shortcut through the woods by the river, hoping to get home quickly. The air was crisp, and the moon cast an eerie glow over the landscape. As Isabella walked, she heard the sound of soft sobbing carried by the wind. She paused, her heart pounding, and strained to listen. The sobbing grew louder, and she could make out the faint words, "Mis hijos, ¿dónde están mis hijos?" My children, where are my children? Fear gripped Isabella as she realized she was hearing the cries of La Llorona. She quickened her pace, but the sobbing followed her, growing more desperate. She felt an icy chill in the air, and the shadows seemed to close in around her. Suddenly, she caught sight of a figure by the river. It was a woman, dressed in a tattered white gown, her long hair matted and dripping with water. The woman's face was obscured, but her sobbing was unmistakable. Isabella's instinct was to run, but she found herself frozen in place. The woman turned towards her, revealing hollow, lifeless eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness. "Mis hijos," she wailed, reaching out a skeletal hand. With a burst of adrenaline, Isabella broke free from her paralysis and ran as fast as she could. The sound of the woman's cries echoed in her ears, urging her to keep moving. She didn't stop until she reached the safety of her home, her heart racing and her mind reeling from the encounter. The following days were filled with fear and uncertainty for Isabella. She couldn't shake the image of La Llorona from her mind, and she was plagued by nightmares of the weeping woman. She shared her experience with her friends and family, but most dismissed it as a figment of her imagination. However, strange occurrences began to plague the town of San Rafael. Children reported hearing the cries of La Llorona at night, and several claimed to have seen a ghostly figure by the river. Pets went missing, and the once peaceful town was gripped by an undercurrent of fear. Isabella's younger brother, Miguel, was particularly affected by the stories. He became withdrawn and fearful, refusing to leave the house after dark. Their grandmother, Abuela Rosa, took the legend of La Llorona seriously and warned the family to be cautious. "She is real," Abuela Rosa said solemnly. La Llorona is a restless spirit, and she will not stop until she finds her children. We must be vigilant and protect our own. Determined to uncover the truth about La Llorona and protect her family, Isabella began to research the legend. She visited the local library and spoke with historians and folklorists who had studied the tale. She learned about the tragic story of Maria and the curse that bound her spirit to the river. Isabella also discovered that there had been other encounters with La Llorona throughout history. In each case, the weeping woman had appeared near bodies of water, searching for her lost children and bringing tragedy to those who crossed her path. One name kept coming up in her research: Dr. Alejandro Ortiz, a renowned paranormal investigator who had dedicated his life to studying the legend of La Llorona. Isabella reached out to Dr. Ortiz, hoping he could provide answers and guidance. Dr. Alejandro Ortiz was intrigued by Isabella's story and agreed to travel to San Rafael to investigate. He arrived with his team of researchers, equipped with cameras, recording devices, and other tools used to detect paranormal activity. The team set up their equipment by the river and began their investigation. They conducted EVP, electronic voice phenomena, sessions, asking questions in hopes of capturing La Llorona's voice. They also used thermal cameras to detect cold spots, which could indicate the presence of a spirit. As night fell, the air grew heavy with tension. The team sat in silence, listening to the sounds of the night. Suddenly, the temperature dropped, and a chill ran through the group. The sound of soft sobbing echoed through the darkness, sending shivers down their spines. "Isabella," Dr. Ortiz whispered, "we are not alone." The sobbing grew louder, and the team captured faint words on their recording devices. "Mis hijos, ¿dónde están mis hijos?" The thermal cameras detected a cold spot moving towards them, and the hairs on the back of Isabella's neck stood on end. With a sense of urgency, Dr. Ortiz instructed the team to perform a ritual to communicate with La Llorona. They formed a circle, holding hands, and began to chant a prayer of protection. As the team chanted, the sobbing ceased, and the cold spot remained in place. Dr. Ortiz addressed the spirit, speaking gently but firmly. "La Llorona, we know of your sorrow and your search for your children. We are here to help you find peace. Please, tell us what you need." For a moment, there was silence. Then, a soft, ethereal voice responded, "My children. I cannot find my children. Help me find them." Isabella's heart ached for the spirit. Despite the fear she felt, she wanted to help La Llorona find the peace she so desperately sought. "How can we help you?" Isabella asked, her voice trembling. The voice replied, "Bring me to them. They are lost in the river. I must find them." Dr. Ortiz nodded, understanding the gravity of the request. "We will help you, La Llorona. We will conduct a ritual to guide your spirit and help you find your children." The following evening, the team gathered by the river to perform the ritual of release. They set up candles and incense, creating a sacred space to communicate with La Llorona. Dr. Ortiz led the ritual, chanting prayers and invoking the spirits of light to guide the weeping woman. Isabella stood by the river, her heart heavy with empathy for La Llorona. She held a lock of hair from her own brother, Miguel, as a symbol of the children lost to the river. As the ritual progressed, the air grew colder, and the spirit of La Llorona materialized by the riverbank. Her eyes were filled with sorrow, and tears streamed down her face. "My children, where are my children?" she cried. Dr. Ortiz extended his hand towards the spirit. "La Llorona, we will guide you to your children. Follow the light." The team chanted a prayer of release, and a soft, glowing light emerged from the river. It illuminated the water, revealing the spirits of two small children, their faces peaceful and serene. "La Llorona," Dr. Ortiz said gently, "your children are here. They have been waiting for you." With a mournful wail, La Llorona reached out to her children. The light enveloped her, and her form began to fade. The spirits of the children reached out to their mother, their faces filled with a sense of peace and longing. The moment was both heartbreaking and beautiful, as the family was finally reunited after centuries of separation. As the light grew brighter, La Llorona's mournful cries turned into soft whispers of relief. "My children! I have found you," she murmured. The spirit of the weeping woman began to dissolve into the light, her sorrow and torment fading away. The glowing light that surrounded them expanded, bathing the riverbank in a warm, ethereal glow. Isabella, Dr. Ortiz, and the team watched in awe as the spirits ascended, their forms becoming one with the light. The oppressive presence that had haunted the area lifted, replaced by a sense of tranquility and closure. As the last remnants of La Llorona and her children vanished, the river seemed to sparkle with a newfound clarity. The wind carried a gentle, soothing hum, as if the very essence of the land had been cleansed of the curse that had plagued it for so long. In the days that followed, the town of San Rafael felt a palpable shift in the atmosphere. The haunting cries of La Llorona were no longer heard, and the strange occurrences ceased. The townsfolk, who had been living in fear, began to feel a sense of relief and safety. Isabella found herself reflecting on the events that had transpired. Her encounter with La Llorona had been terrifying, yet it had also revealed the depth of a mother's love and the anguish of loss. She felt a profound sense of empathy for La Llorona and a deep appreciation for the strength of the human spirit. Dr. Ortiz and his team documented their findings and shared their experience with the paranormal community. Their investigation provided valuable insights into the nature of spirits and the importance of rituals and respect in dealing with the supernatural. Dr. Ortiz emphasized the need for compassion and understanding when confronting restless spirits. Isabella's family, particularly her younger brother Miguel, began to heal from the fear and anxiety that had gripped them. Abuela Rosa, who had always believed in the legend of La Llorona, shared stories of other spirits and the importance of honoring their memory. Inspired by her experience, Isabella decided to dedicate herself to helping others who faced similar supernatural challenges. She studied folklore and paranormal phenomena, learning about various rituals and protective practices. Isabella's journey took her to different places, where she assisted families and communities in dealing with restless spirits and curses. Her work brought her into contact with people from diverse backgrounds, each with their own unique stories and encounters with the supernatural. Through her efforts, Isabella helped many find peace and closure, guiding spirits to their final rest and protecting the living from malevolent forces. The legend of La Llorona remained a vital part of San Rafael's history, but it was now a story of hope and redemption. The townsfolk continued to honor her memory, holding an annual festival to celebrate the triumph of love and the power of healing. During the festival, people would gather by the river, lighting candles and offering flowers to the spirits of La Llorona and her children. They sang songs, recited prayers, and shared stories of courage and resilience. The festival became a symbol of the community's strength and unity, a reminder that even in the face of darkness, there was always hope. Isabella's work and the legacy of La Llorona inspired many to approach the supernatural with respect and compassion. The story served as a cautionary tale, but it also highlighted the importance of understanding and empathy in dealing with spirits and curses. The river that had once been a source of fear and sorrow now flowed with a sense of serenity. The waters were clear, reflecting the beauty of the landscape and the resilience of the people of San Rafael. The legend of La Llorona lived on, but it was no longer a tale of terror, it was a testament to the enduring power of love and the possibility of redemption. Isabella continued her work, guided by the lessons she had learned from La Llorona. She knew that the supernatural world was filled with mysteries, but she also knew that with compassion and understanding, even the most restless spirits could find peace. As she stood by the river one evening, Isabella felt a gentle breeze brush against her face. She closed her eyes and smiled, knowing that La Llorona and her children had found their final rest. The weeping woman's cries had ceased, and her spirit was finally at peace. If you enjoyed this captivating story, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue to bring you stories that ignite your imagination and keep you on the edge of your seat. Thank you for being part of our storytelling community.